After 8 years together, I found myself longing for a proposal. Join me on my journey of love, doubt, and ultimate happiness as I navigate the complexities of relationships. The waiting game. Hey there, I want to share a part of my life that has been quite the emotional roller coaster. For over 8 years, I've been in a loving relationship with my boyfriend, who is now 36. We've been living together for 5 years, and to the outside world, we seem like the perfect couple. We laugh together, travel together, and support each other through thick and thin. It's a beautiful life we've built, but there's a little cloud hovering over my head. You see, I want to get married. I can almost hear you saying, what's the big deal? Well, for me, it's not just about the ring or the party. It's about celebrating our love in front of friends and family, about feeling secure in our future. We've talked about it a few times, and while he's been open to the idea lately, I've yet to see that ring on my finger. I've tried to express my feelings to him. I mean, who wouldn't want to share their dreams of wedding bliss? But every time I bring it up, it feels like I'm dancing around a topic that makes him uncomfortable. It's frustrating because I feel like we're living a married life without the title. I've even toyed with the idea of giving him ultimatums, like not investing in a larger home until we're legally tied. But deep down, I know I lack the courage to walk away from this otherwise perfect relationship. As I see friends getting married and starting families, I find myself feeling stuck, longing for clarity. Should I keep waiting, or do I need to confront him about it? It's hard to shake off the feeling of uncertainty, especially when I see the surprise on people's faces when they learn how long we've been together. But there's a glimmer of hope. I realized that maybe the next step is to have an honest conversation with him about marriage. I have a trip coming up next month, so I think I'll wait until after that to broach the topic. I want to make sure I approach it in the right way without adding pressure. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning. The build-up. So as the days passed, I found myself lost in thought about how to initiate this conversation. The trip was approaching, and I wanted everything to be perfect. I could imagine the beautiful scenery, the laughter, and then the moment I'd find the courage to speak my truth. But the closer we got to our getaway, the more anxious I became. What if he wasn't on the same page? What if he didn't want what I wanted? Leading up to our trip, I tried to casually bring up marriage in conversations, hoping to gauge his feelings without putting him on the spot. But every time I mentioned it, he seemed a bit dismissive, which only fueled my anxiety. I started second-guessing everything. Was he really the one? Did he see a future with me? My overthinking brain was spiraling. Then, one evening, I decided to confront my fears. I sat down with him, and despite my nerves, I told him how important it was for me to talk about our future. His response was surprising. He admitted he had been avoiding the topic because he had something planned. My heart raced at the suggestion of a surprise, but I couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. Maybe he was thinking about proposing. But I didn't want to push him too hard. I nodded and changed the subject, trying to ease the tension I felt. As our trip finally arrived, I was both excited and anxious. The beautiful location was perfect for creating memories, but in the back of my mind, I couldn't shake the nagging question, what if he still wasn't ready? I didn't want to ruin the special moments we had planned, but I also needed to know where we stood. And then came the moment that would change everything. Our trip was everything I hoped it would be. The sunsets were stunning, and we spent our days exploring new places and enjoying each other's company. It felt like we were in our own little world, disconnected from the worries back home. But in the back of my mind, I could feel the anticipation building. One evening, while watching the sunset on a secluded beach, he seemed a bit more serious than usual. My heart raced. Was this it? I could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on me. Suddenly, he turned to me, and I could see a spark in his eyes. In that moment, everything else faded away. He took a deep breath and shared how much he loved me, how happy I made him, and how he couldn't imagine his life without me. My heart swelled with emotion, and I felt tears welling up. I was about to ask him what that meant for our future when he reached into his pocket. I couldn't believe my eyes when he pulled out a small box. My breath caught in my throat as he knelt down, looking up at me with such sincerity. It felt like time stood still. He asked me to marry him, and all I could do was nod, overwhelmed with joy. I realized that all my worrying and waiting had led to this moment, and it was more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. But even as I floated on a cloud of happiness, I had to acknowledge how close I had come to giving up on us. My thoughts raced back to the doubts I had, and I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Part 4. A new chapter. After he proposed, everything felt surreal. I was engaged. The love of my life had taken that leap, and my heart was overflowing with happiness. We spent the rest of our trip basking in the glow of our engagement, dreaming about our future together. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I finally felt secure in our relationship. Looking back, I realized that my overthinking had clouded my judgment. I had let my anxieties dictate how I felt about our relationship instead of trusting in the love we had built over the years. The conversations we had, even the ones that felt uncomfortable, were essential in getting us to this point. I learned that every relationship has its own timeline and that it's not about the number of years, but the connection we share. As we returned home, I felt a renewed sense of hope. I was excited to plan our wedding, not just as a celebration, but as a testament to our journey together. I reflect on how my initial fears and doubts were part of the process, but they ultimately led to a beautiful outcome. If you're in a similar situation, I urge you to communicate openly and honestly with your partner. Don't let fear dictate your happiness. Sometimes the best things come when you least expect them. Here's to new beginnings and a love that grows stronger every day. Cheers to happily ever after.